Hey, I may be one of those discerning artists sometimes when it comes to like light fastness, fancy paper, blah blah blah. But sometimes the dollar store can be a surprising little treasure trove of fun things. But this is the first time that I've seen tube watercolors, so I'm just gonna try those today. Now, I don't want to make one of those videos where I just make a frustrating piece of junk. If you're seeing this, it means that I made something that I was happy with. The materials that I'll be playing with today is this artist series watercolors. I'm so skeptical. It says professional quality. I find that very doubtful. Not just because it was $2. It says it's non-toxic. And then it goes on to say, keep young children away. So I'm getting like a lot of really weird mixed messages with this packaging. They did have mixed media paper, but you know what? Some mixed media papers are kind of surprising, and I learned how to use watercolor on like the worst papers imaginable. So for $10, if this is any good, you'd have a lot of fun, right? I got this one. I prefer round brushes myself. Maybe I'm the wrong one. I'm going to use this little B plate. It kind of looks like a Michaels product, doesn't it? Watch, I'm going to open this up and it's going to be separated and clear. It'll be like game over. Oh, interesting. Look at that. First observation is that these are apparently going to be kind of opaque looking. Maybe they're not watercolor at all. Maybe they're some kind of gouache. This is the only red that we get. Okay. I'm gonna try one of these secondary colors just to see what the texture of that is like. It has kind of like a weird gooey texture to it. But the colors mix nicely. Got a purple. It's a strange viscosity, that's for sure. I don't know what's gonna happen when I put any water on this. Let's find out. This dollar store paper. It's very cellulose feeling, you know? If I was just beginning and learning on this, this is a lot nicer than, you know, the sketchbook papers that I was starting on. Let's try some really thick pink. It's so gooey. I think perhaps the more water, the better for this one, because the viscosity of the paint itself keeps it from really kind of going anywhere. I'm not going to try to do any like watercolor kind of tricks or techniques because it's probably not really going to do anything. That's actually not bad if I help it out a little. Ew, okay. What happens if I put it on thick? Whoa, that comes right off. It's gooey, so I don't really think that we can just like pump up the color just by making it thicker. It's weird. It's not gonna like flow anywhere. The blue is kind of nice, I guess. To account for some variables, I'm gonna test it on my favorite paper, this Bao Huang paper. Just to make sure that it's not just the paper that's messing up. I'm sure it's not. Let's see. I do kind of like the blue. For some reason it feels better. The gooiness of the liquid prevents it from seeping too much compared to something like Core watercolor. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. Let's try Core watercolor on this paper. Now, I'm not saying that Core is like the best paint. It seems actually kind of uncommon when you ask people what paint they use. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one using it. Here, I have some M. Graham. This is good for if you're prone to mistakes. You can erase them. You can tell how kind of purpley it is. It's got to be recycled paper or something. Let's play with this. Let's do like a little guy, I guess. How about some like clovers or something? Yeah, this yellow is not really thrilling me. I kind of wish it had like a warmer one. And it's all gooey. Maybe I'm just being privileged, or maybe you're having a similar thought. Like, why bother trying dollar store materials when we already have so much more variety now and choices? Are they just gonna like buy it for their kids or something? Like, who is this marketed towards? That's the confusing part about the packaging for me, is because it says professional quality, which it's like, I don't know why or like who would believe that. I don't know, because I do lots of sketches and I play in sketchbooks and art journals and stuff, so in those situations I don't really care about the quality of the paint. And you know, as someone who was once a child, I'm not a huge fan of the whole like, here child, take your garbage kind of thing. Each one of us could describe our first, you know, crappy art kit where the markers were dried up and unusable. This is a terrible bird, by the way. Dang. If you're a texture person, I would say just based on texture alone, I would never use this. It's really gross. That's kind of all the fun about watercolor, is seeing how it reacts on its own and makes its own kind of shapes. You get to kind of accommodate that and work together with your medium to make something really cool. And this stuff is very safe in terms of control. I'm just going to try to make the background look like he's sort of in a field of clovers without having to painstakingly draw every single clover. I'll do like a little bit of negative painting. I do appreciate that the colors do seem to mix. Like, it's not turning gray. I am getting greens, which is a pleasant surprise. Sometimes they just don't mix. I'm sort of just freehanding a bird, and I'm not really good at that. My drawing could be better. I am just painting with pudding. Disgusting. Disgusting. Nice. I really set myself up trying to draw something that's dark. Do these re-wet after they've been dried? Let's see. It's a little chunky. What? Maybe they're using a white paint that is acrylic, so anything that's tinted seems like a no. Whereas the primary colors do seem to kind of want to come back. So here's my burb. I decided to stop because I was getting kind of tilted and frustrated. The gooiness of the paint made it not, fluid. So working with it felt weird. Tried it on this paper and it's better, but it still feels really weird. The Stonehenge watercolor. And it's a little better. This orange is actually that warm yellow that I was hoping wishing that it had. So at least there's that. I could have used that. It's like a dandelion yellow. I mean, I made a crow kind of without a reference, so it doesn't really look that accurate. But the contrast is killing me. And you know what? I just happen to have dollar store pencil crayons. Let me see if I can fix this eye. It's a little too close. Thanks for joining me. I think I had fun. I don't think I would suggest trying this, but you already knew that. I'll see you next time.